On my 22nd birthday across a white tablecloth, my grandmother stared straight into my eyes and declared, "I got you a $36 million hotel for your birthday." I burst out laughing because nobody delivers that line seriously, but then she pushed a leather portfolio in my direction, and I spotted the emerald's name on the deed. The valuation, the signature lines, everything already completed with my name. She explained, "At midnight this becomes yours. You own the full $36 million outright. Don't thank me. Just avoid being foolish with it. I'm Sophia Reed." And right then, I shifted from a fresh NYU graduate to the rightful owner of one of Brooklyn Heights' most renowned boutique hotels. All before I'd even touched my birthday dessert. My grandmother then tossed in one extra remark that ought to have signaled what lay ahead. "Your mother hasn't heard yet. I preferred you learn it directly from me." When I returned to the Midtown penthouse where I'd grown up, my phone was bombarded with missed calls and messages. The entire place was lit up. My mom stood in the living room, fully made up in a designer gown, her recent husband positioned next to her like a guard. They were already aware. They spoke of family heritage and handling it as a team, about my youth and inexperience, how they might ease the burden by intervening. When I responded, "No, I'm the sole owner and that stays the same," my mother's expression turned icy. "Then grab your things and leave my house," she stated. No discussion, no delay. As I crammed my belongings into 2 suitcases, struggling to stay steady, my grandmother showed up in my doorway, seeming almost entertained, and remarked, "Before deciding on that hotel's future, you should review what I've uncovered about your mother's new husband. If you believe getting evicted over a $36 million hotel is rough, just wait till you discover what my grandma had already exposed about the guy who aimed to snatch it. The reality of being evicted from your own home, due to a $36 million hotel, is that it strikes abruptly. It unfolds in 3 sentences." My mother gazed at me from across the living room, her face flawlessly composed beneath costly makeup. And she reiterated, "If you refuse to let us oversee the emerald as a family, you can't stay here. Pack up, Sophia." Her new husband simply observed, hands tucked in his pockets, sporting that serene business grin that chilled me. Until that evening, I'd always referred to her as Mom and him as the new guy. But following that demand, they revealed their true selves. Elizabeth Reed, the woman who valued her way of life over her daughter, and Victor Hale, the man who'd wed into our family 7 months prior and was already acting as if he claimed part of my inheritance. I attempted to reason with her once. "You can't mean this. You're throwing me out because Grandma handed me something bearing my name." Elizabeth didn't flinch. "I'm imparting a lesson on respect. My home, my rules. And the top rule is we handle major choices together. If you want to act the boss with that hotel, do so without relying on me." Victor interjected, his tone gentle, condescending. "Sophia, no one's attempting to seize anything from you. Operational oversight, brand direction, investor dealings, that's our domain. You'd remain the public figure. We'd simply operate in the background, ensuring you don't sink." It was how he phrased "our domain." As if I were some naive child who should feel thankful for inclusion that sealed my choice. "No," I declared, "the emerald belongs to me. I'm not endorsing anything. I'm not dividing control. I'll manage without you." Elizabeth's smile vanished entirely. "Then you can also sort out your sleeping arrangements tonight." 10 minutes later, I was upstairs ripping clothes from hangers, stuffing my existence into 2 suitcases and a carry-on. The penthouse abruptly seemed like a discarded stage set. Every designer outfit in my closet was her selection. Every downstairs furnishing was picked for her persona. And now I realized none of it had truly been shared. I was closing the second suitcase when the elevator doors parted again. Moments later, my grandmother entered my room as if she commanded the building. "Well," she remarked dryly, surveying the disorganized packing. That unfolded precisely as I anticipated. This marked the first occasion she'd appeared more entertained than furious at one of my mother's outbursts. "You expected her to evict me?" I inquired. I expected she'd choose her ease over your independence if someone clever enough murmured in her ear, my grandmother replied. And Victor Hale excels at murmuring. She placed her Birkin on the bed, delved inside, and extracted a plain brown envelope. Before you settle into my guest room and we plan how to shield you from being devoured, you must grasp what you're truly facing. Within were duplicates of bank statements from a Bahamian shell company, wire transfers amounting to hundreds of thousands, and printed emails. One subject line contained 4 words that twisted my gut: Emerald Acquisition Strategy Timeline. The email's content outlined it starkly. After I inherited the emerald, the scheme involved pressuring me to relinquish management, reorganize, liquidate assets, and ultimately tap the site's complete redevelopment value. Victor's signature appeared at the bottom. He wed Elizabeth for this, my grandmother murmured. Not for her, but for the hotel for you. I gazed at the pages, the dates, the figures, the nonchalant manner in which he discussed dismantling the sole creation my grandmother had intended for me. Does Mom know? I questioned. That, Margaret Reed stated, her tone sharpening, is what I've been attempting to determine. Which is why you're not confronting either of them yet. Allow them to believe they frightened you into fleeing. Let them undervalue you. Predators invariably err when convinced their quarry is defenseless. I still clutched the envelope when my phone illuminated on the nightstand. My mother's name flashing repeatedly. Calls and texts accumulating one atop another. For the first time ever I ignored them. Because for the first time ever, I comprehended I wasn't the sole victim in this game, and I wouldn't serve as their simplest mark. My mother phoned the following morning at 7:30, and I nearly sent it to voicemail like the rest. I was in my grandmother's guest room, barely awake, with Victor's email envelope still on the nightstand. The screen pulsed Mom, until I finally answered, driven more by grim interest than optimism. Sophia, she uttered, her voice strained. We must discuss now. Without Victor. I'd never heard her so raw, devoid of refinement. About what? I probed. About your grandmother? About Victor? About that hotel? I can't elaborate over the phone. Meet me at the cafe near Central Park's south entrance in an hour. Come by yourself. She disconnected before I could respond. An hour later, I faced her at a small metal table, witnessing Elizabeth Reed unravel in daylight. No cosmetics, large sunglasses, hair pulled back as if she'd dashed out. Her hands trembled lifting her coffee. He's not the person I believed, she began abruptly. I realize you have no cause to trust me now, but you must view this. She slid an iPad toward me, already open to a folder named Insurance. I tapped it and halted. Reports scrolled by, page after page. Not on Victor, not on business, on me. Daily routines, bank account screenshots, photos snapped from streets and through cafe panes, records of meetings, durations, even my typical departure time from my freshman NYU dorm. He's been monitoring you for 18 months, my mother whispered. Prior to our charity gala meeting, before the engagement, before the wedding, he pursued me because of you, because of Margaret, because of the emerald. My gut churned as I scrolled. Financial forecasts detailed leveraging the Reed asset to finance an East Coast development portfolio. Drafts of contracts for a Miami-based security and risk management outfit boasting expertise in tough property conflicts. The identical name from my grandmother's envelope emails. Why reveal this only now? I demanded. Because I discovered it just last night, she replied, appearing nauseous. He stores this iPad in his office safe. I assumed it held tax documents and dull legal matters I avoided. I knew the code. After you departed, I entered thinking perhaps something, anything, would confirm he wasn't the villain Margaret claims. She laughed bitterly without humor. Instead, I uncovered evidence he's far worse. I switched to another folder labeled Contingencies. There it was. A scanned prenup copy between my mother and Victor, sections marked in yellow. He demanded it, she said softly. Claimed it protected his investors, that our lawyers had concurred. I skimmed it, Sophia. I signed it. I trusted him. One paragraph was triple highlighted. Dense legalese outlined that if the marriage dissolved within 2 years and Victor proved financial damage, he'd claim compensation from shared assets, encompassing any property, inheritance, or gifts obtained by immediate family during the union. I didn't require legal expertise for the calculation. The emerald passed to me 3 days ago. The deed's ink was fresh. So if you divorce him now, I said deliberately, he could assert the emerald as his loss, or at least haul us to court to stall everything and secure a temporary manager to prevent recklessness. My mother affirmed bitterly. He doesn't require your signature on anything. He constructed the snare before you knew a game existed. My phone vibrated on the table. A text from Victor appeared on the lock screen as if summoned. Tell your mother she's awful at concealment. Have her return my iPad to its spot. Then another shortly after. Actually, let's discuss this correctly. Breakfast tomorrow. The Emerald Rooftop. Just us. Don't delay. My mother glimpsed the messages and blanched. He knows. She exhaled. He knows I accessed the safe. For the first time since arriving, her gaze met mine unmasked. Sophia, please return the hotel to your grandmother. Place it in trust. Depart New York temporarily. I don't care to where. Just escape him until we discern his limits. I stared at the screen, his casual phrasing, the smug glee in each word. My grandmother's words from the prior night resonated. Predator's air when overconfident. No, I replied. I'm not fleeing. He chose the wrong granddaughter to track. That afternoon at Margaret Reed's dining table, we laid out the prenup, surveillance dossiers, security firm contracts. My grandmother scanned the crucial clause once, then twice, her lips compressing. He's positioned himself to seize control even without your signature, she observed. He believes he's invincible. Her gaze rose to mine, abruptly keen and alert. So tomorrow morning attend that rooftop breakfast. Smile. Listen. Let him speak. And as he does, we'll subtly transform this prenup ploy of his into his career's gravest error. I wore jeans, a silk blouse, and the watch my grandmother gifted for my 18th birthday. Because facing the man who'd stalked me for a year demanded at least one item that felt protective. Before departing, Margaret halted me at the door and slipped a slender silver pin into my palm. A record, she explained. Twist the top clip until it clicks. Pocket it. Let him ramble. The elevator ascent to the Emerald's rooftop seemed eternal, longer than my entire life. Staff welcomed me with "Good morning, Ms. Reed." As if all was normal, as if my life hadn't become a ledger and prenup provision. Victor occupied the prime table, naturally back to the skyline, facing the entrance to spot my approach. He rose with the effortless allure from society snaps and galas. Sophia, he greeted, arms extended for an embrace. Happy belated birthday. I halted beyond reach, tucked the pen into my blouse pocket and said, let's skip pretending we're family today. His smile held firm, direct. I admire that. Sit. Much to address, and lawyers will stir soon. I sat. A server delivered unrequested coffee. Victor clasped his hands on the table like a routine evaluation. I presume your mother shared the prenup, he stated. And what will term due diligence on you and your grandmother? We viewed it all. I replied, surveillance, shell entities, security outfit. The folder tagged Emerald Acquisition Strategy. Clever. He laughed, utterly unperturbed. I'll concede naming isn't my forte, but planning that I master, hence our meeting. He leaned in, voice dropping. I'll propose something fair, Sophia. Something allowing all to exit with dignity and finances secure. I stayed silent, letting the quiet linger until he broke it, which he did. The emerald remains yours on paper, he continued. You're the exclusive owner. The media gets their uplifting tale of the young heiress claiming her grandmother's heritage. Meanwhile, operational authority shifts to a management firm I've established. They manage finances, upgrade, strategic vision. You collect checks and appear for photos. In essence, I countered, I yield the wheel and ride shotgun while you steer my grandmother's masterpiece toward demolition. In essence, he retorted, you sidestep igniting that prenup grenade. If your mother seeks divorce now, I can assert financial injury. Judges here disdain chaotic elites. They adore asset freezes. A neutral temporary manager oversees the emerald to curb impulsive moves. And guess who's the sole figure here with established real estate expertise? Hint. Not the 22-year-old art history alum. For a moment breathing escaped me. It mirrored my grandmother's forecast precisely. But hearing him voice it casually like a forecast rendered it tangible beyond documents. Why such effort for one hotel? I queried. It's valuable, but not 400 million. His gaze honed, delighted I'd calculated. Correct. The hotel isn't the goal. The ground beneath is. He waved vaguely toward the rooftop's edge, toward Brooklyn Heights. I hold tentative deals with 4 neighboring owners. A bookstore run by an octogenarian. A fitness spot lagging on rent. 2 brownstones requiring excessive repairs. Combine them with your lot, and it's no longer a quaint boutique hotel. It's a premier mixed-use complex. Homes, shops, exclusive club. 400 million minimum, perhaps 5. And the current residents and workers? I pressed. The ones your security firm has been badgering? He remained unfazed. They'll adapt. They do. Areas evolve, Sophia. That's not evil. That's market forces. He sipped coffee, then shed the smile. Now cease feigning debate. You get 72 hours. Sign operational control to my firm, and I'll ensure your mother's divorce proceeds smoothly. I'll forfeit prenup claims, no freezes, no drama. You play the noble granddaughter safeguarding the emerald's essence while experts tackle tedium. Or refuse. Then I escalate to court. I'll leverage every provision, contact, inspector, and permit bureau to turn your hotel tenure into a drawn-out, costly ordeal. You'll witness bookings plummet, debts mount, sentiment sour. Eventually, you'll return begging me to buy it cheap. Or, I countered evenly, heart pounding against the pocketed pen, I expose everything publicly. The tracking prenup scheme, bullying of local owners. It might not be outright illegal, but a $400 million venture won't endure labels as a scam on a student and her grandma. For the first time since sitting, his jaw clenched subtly. I noticed. You'd torch your mother's image to hit me? He asked. Make her fodder for gossip sites. You did that by using her as entry, I replied. I'm merely deciding if you exit. He rose, fixing cufflinks like wrapping a standard session. 72 hours, Sophia. Beyond that, this shifts from talk to procedure. And I excel at procedures. He departed, abandoning his uneaten breakfast. I lingered a minute post-exit, gripping the recording pen before dialing my grandmother. He confessed it all, I said upon her answer. And he assumes court will deliver my hotel. Margaret sounded unsurprised. Good, she replied. Let him assume. Deliver the recording. Victor Hailcrave's procedure will demonstrate what occurs when he's not the loan planner from beginning to end. 2 days on, I learned Victor's commitment to procedure. It began with a call from my mother's lawyer to my grandmother's home. The sort that silences the room pre-answer. I observed Margaret activate speaker and declare, Margaret Reed speaking, in her commanding tone. We've an issue, the attorney stated. Victor initiated legal separation yesterday and sought emergency relief concurrently. He's alleging financial risk from your emerald transfer to Sophia. My stomach sank. He acted so swiftly? I asked. He wastes no time, the lawyer noted. He's requesting court freeze on emerald transactions and neutral temporary management, lest an unseasoned young heir unwittingly ruin a vital marital asset amid heightened emotions. The hotel's no marital asset, I retorted. It was never his or my mother's. It's mine. I concur, the lawyer said. But until we contest before a judge, his morning narrative prevails. He filed first, gaining story advantage. By afternoon we had the response. A judge, likely aiming for compromise, issued a temporary directive. No sales refinances, major overhauls, ownership shifts sans approval. Crucially, an external firm would manage the emerald temporarily to prevent family rashness. Margaret eyed the laptop's scanned order, then pinched her nose bridge. Let me predict, she said. The firm's name is bland and recognizable. Hale Property Services LLC, the lawyer verified. It qualifies on paper. Active entity, past contracts. We can dispute, but for weeks, possibly months, Sophia, he's steering legally. I'd thought myself ready. I wasn't. Next morning, entering my lobby to find Victor with clipboard, accompanied by two suited men alien to my grandmother's crew, felt dissociative. Ms. Reed, he addressed formally sans false kinship. Per court order, I'm taking interim operations. You're invited to consult, of course. Consultative role. My grandmother's employees watched, gauging fear levels. I steadied my tone. This remains my hotel, I asserted. My name's on the deed. Remember that. Forgotten by none, Victor replied slickly. We're merely preventing accidental devaluation amid emotions. Changes crept in subtly like decay. Longtime vendors received sudden cancellations. Victor introduced pricier, less local alternatives. Housekeeping shifts shortened. Desk staff faced aggressive upselling mandates or dismissal. Complaints emerged. Delays, odd rules, atmosphere turning from warm to commercial. He's intentional, I told Margaret that night, pacing her kitchen. By destabilizing quarters figures, he can argue to court. See, the kid faltered. Grant my firm permanent control or the asset declines. Naturally intentional, she said. The issue is if we permit it. She pushed fresh papers across. While he played checkers via family court, I resumed chess with Leonard Russo. The documents bypassed us, detailing a Florida strip mall torch suspiciously pre-insurance, a Jersey warehouse with dubious electrical failure post-buyout refusal, a Miami hotel where harassment drove a halved sale. In each, two entities lurked. Russo's funds and Victor's security firm. Spot the trend? Margaret asked. Russo finances. The firm pressures resistors. Mishaps ensue. Officially coincidences. Unofficially, industry knowledge without proof. So how to prove? I asked. By feeding proof hunters a clear path. She continued. I contacted a bureau acquaintance. Russo's been watched but untied to threats. Then Victor wired from his Bahamas shell to that firm as consulting fees. The agent nearly thanked me profusely. She paused, then added, the strategy. While Victor revels as court-crowned emerald ruler, we engage your neighbors. Gather tales, texts, nocturnal visits from his crew. Compile records. Meanwhile, law enforcement observes his minions discreetly. With judicial blessing assumed, any lock tamper or alarm mishap files away. And meanwhile, I asked. Meanwhile, Margaret said, smile appear, let staff see you. Engage journalists, bloggers, guests on the place's community value. When we activate, we target Victor beyond court. Ensure his name poisons every boardroom he's entered. I envisioned the hotel. Rooftop garden, wall art, surrounding businesses in its orbit. For the first time, I shifted from holder of a grandmother's creation to fighter for block, neighborhood, legacy. Fine, I said. If procedures his desire, we'll deliver. But post-end, I want him regretting the Reed name. If Victor deemed a judge's interim order and clipboard invincible, the ensuing week disproved it. The initial fracture appeared as a shaky elderly woman entering the Emerald lobby, gripping a canvas bag and paper folder. I identified her from Margaret's files pre-introduction. You're Dorothy Park, I said, leading her to a lounge nook. My grandmother mentioned your corner bookstore. Her grandson in worn band tee lingered protectively, seeming ready to battle or retch. They've tailed him, Dorothy said, thrusting the folder. Inside, black SUV photos opposite their store. Anonymous text screenshots warning of Grandma's nighttime safety, Unfruitful police report. They insist the area's shifting. Time to sell while possible, she added. 40 years owning that shop. It's no mere ledger entry. 2 days later, Maya Lopez from the Block's Pilates studio arrived with flash drive of footage. Grainy videos depicted hooded men meddling with her door alarm, depositing apparent flyers, actually blank papers, at 3 a.m. Then the corner cafe endured weekly surprise checks from nameless inspectors. Each tale echoed Margaret's Florida Jersey patterns. Pressure, harassment, coincidences, relentless erosion making ownership burdensome. One night at Margaret's dining table we arrayed it. My Victor rooftop recordings looping softly, texts, reports, transfers forming a scheme mosaic. When Margaret's FBI contact arrived, suit slightly rumpled, eyes piercing, he barely concealed glee. Frankly, he said, scanning banks, Russo's eluded us on this forever. Victor's Shelter-firm funding trail? Priceless. He's not my boyfriend, I corrected swiftly. My mother's error. The agent smirked subtly. Better still. Process. We broaden Russo associate probe. Monitor Emerald Block actions quietly. Collect incidents, encourage neighbor talks, but no quick raid. Cases build gradually or crumble on appeal. We lack time, I said. He's sabotaging my hotel now to claim incompetence. Which is why, Margaret interjected, law's your role. Ours is the remainder. Next came Victor's blind spot. Public opinion court. Dismissed until inescapable. Margaret phoned a Times real estate reporter from his intern days. I contacted a friend with NYC Neighborhoods Gentrification Instagram. We built the story incrementally. First, human focus. Article on cherished Brooklyn Heights bookstore and studio enduring anonymous cell pressure. SUVs, safety worries. Details sans names, accusations, stirring small business neighborhood sympathy. Then escalation, I went on record interview, full name. Detailed Emerald inheritance, mother's abrupt Victor marriage, prenup path to my asset on relationship failure. No crime claims needed. Just his inexperience, worries, and interim eagerness. Judge granted control amplified. The ensuing article was politely devastating. Headline. Intricate legal fight over Brooklyn hotel sparks power inheritance queries. But subtext. Victor as scheming opportunist court prying hotel from young woman. Same day I posted rooftop video Brooklyn backdrop. Narrated friend style. 22nd birthday table slid deed. Mother's eviction demand. Emerald acquisition strategy emails. No tears please. Just raw feel of family marriage for grandma's hotel dirt. Video hit million views in 24 hours. By 48 duets, stitches, ethics predatory development debates. Someone unearthed Victor Russo gala photos. Another. Familiar Florida mall lawsuit. Victor's court narrative spiraled online. Investors heed such. Council members banks too. Anonymous source forwarded backer email pausing Brooklyn project amid allegation review. Then my mother's lawyer called. Victor's side seeks management revisit. Pressure mounting. But pre-revisit FBI acted. No flashy raid, 2 agents at JFK private terminal. Warrant ready. Victor's Bahamas business flight halted. Charges transcended me Emerald. Florida fires, Jersey warehouse, intimidation fraud patterns years deep. My recordings, wires, neighbor accounts, threads in larger snare. Newsbreak surreal. Smug legal emails one moment, mugshot under real estate fraud extortion cheer next. Russo arrested week later. Empire diminished by racketeering scheme print mentions. Original Emerald order judge acted swiftly post indictments. Prenup frozen for fraud check. Hale Services ousted as manager. Court did the unthinkable for Victor. Restored my operational control, citing good faith doubts. Lobby morning of official shift. Staff breathed relief unseen in weeks. Margaret joined me, hand lightly on shoulder. Hotel yours again, she said. No, I amended, eyeing beyond marble brass to corner bookstore, street studio, foggy window cafe. We reclaimed our block. For first time since birthday, it transcended holding grandma's build, became my fight. Revenge's irony. Actual attainment feels not explosive but breathable. Post-Victor's arrest, headlines shifting. Lawyers ceasing desperate probes via my mother's attorney. Normal didn't return. No normal existed. Just post-family nearly trading future for ease. Post-jailing underestimator. Elizabeth requested Greenwich Village cafe meet. Overlooked spot, not flashy. She arrived jean sweater, sans glam, sans act. We sat momentarily, blood-shared duo with poor choices. I don't anticipate forgiveness, she said eventually, mug gripping tightly. Just know I see now. Life's pursuit of safety via others' funds blinded me to Victor's reality. No dramatic absolution. I spoke truth. You wounded me, I said. Chose him till near irreversible. Evicted for refusing grandma's gift handover. That lingers even if he exceeded your worst. She winced, held gaze. I know. Therapy thrice weekly unravels why I equated male selection with security. Can't reverse harm to you. Can only bar Victor types appear when called even coffee. Admission sans excuses, change plan. So I offered what possible. Not okay yet, I said. But open to who you become sans borrowed surname. We began modestly. Weekly coffees on traffic eateries, her new dog over husband. She visited Emerald as guest. Not superior manager, lobby observer of passers-by. Hotel evolved too. Hired hospitality-focused GM. Community director forging school arts ties. Hosted courtyard readings for Dorothy's shop. Studio retreat discounts. Rooftop fundraisers. Emerald ceased prize status, became grandma's vision. Vibrant city piece. Margaret eased marginally, edges only. Still snapped at sneaky fee suppliers. Tore dubious contracts. But more rooftop evenings sharing 70s deals via grit cheap suits. One night, 6 months post-sentencing, she nodded at lit emerald sign. Didn't bequeath this to test keeping, she said. To test fight timing. I recalled birthday dinner girl, dazed by unready deed. She'd surrendered for harmony, trusted age wisdom, family safety. No longer her. If lesson existed, not money corrupts or trust none. But boundaryless love invites Victor rearrangers. No to parent, partner. Grateful sit system, sometimes self-family's kindest act. Grandma gifted $36 million hotel. Mom's new husband sought control. Ultimately, kept beyond building land. Outnumbered, undervalued, briefly overridden. Yet backfought sans faux resemblance. That, over sheets appraisals is legacy segment I'll guard.